Guys, Karen Jarrett is wilding out right now. For the benefit of anyone that doesn't already know, this is Jeff Jarrett's wife, Kurt Angle's ex-wife. She was formerly known as Karen Angle, and is currently stirring up quite a bit of controversy over on the old Bird app. Now, the drama all stems from this rap that was made by Max Caster on an episode of AEW Dynamite. I'll play it now to give some context. But essentially, this wrestler's gimmick, his character, is that he's a battle rapper. He writes raps about his opponents, tries to take them down a peg. If you saw John Cena around about 2004-ish, then yeah, that's probably the easiest thing to compare it to if you've never seen Max Caster before. But anyway, here is the rap that is causing all the issues.
A lot of people want to know what you doing on our show when you haven't been relevant since 2004. Double J, you a double A. Ho, really thinking you could beat a claim? No, not to have you tapping like a Morse code. I stay scheming like I'm global force gold. Sailing upwards is just your way of life, and you stealing money like it's Kurt Angle's wife.
And it's that line right there that is causing all the controversy. You're stealing money like you're Kurt Angle's wife. I think the look on Bowen's and Billy Gunn's faces there, that says everything about it. I mean, just look at that face. That is the face of a man that has just seen another man verbally murder a third man, and there's also a fourth man there in shock. But why was that line so controversial, and what has been the fallout from it? Well, as you can imagine, there's a lot of moving parts to it, pretty complicated story, but essentially, Kurt and Karen were married, so Kurt and Karen Angle. They decide to no longer be a couple, and so they split up, and during this time, Kurt Angle leaves WWE and joins TNA, so Kurt Angle is not with Karen when he joins TNA. TNA, of course, being Jeff Jarrett's company. And then a few years into Kurt's TNA run, Kurt and Karen decide to give it another go. They see if they can work out their differences. They've got kids together, so they want to see if they can make this work. And so Karen is then introduced to TNA as an on-screen character, and during this time, the relationship breaks down again. And so once again, Kurt and Karen are now separated. And now that they're single, Karen meets Jeff and starts dating Jeff Jarrett, and they eventually get married. And during this time as well, Kurt and Jeff are both still wrestling in TNA. And of course, this gets turned into a big wrestling storyline with a blow-off, a match between Kurt and Jeff at a pay-per-view, because of course it does, it was TNA. And now it's about 12 years later, Jeff and Karen are still together, and everyone's living their life happily ever after, until now. So it's safe to say that this rap from Max Caster has certainly ruffled some feathers, especially those of Karen Angle, because she responded to this. Karen tweets out, "Please tell me I didn't hear what I think I just heard." He then goes on to send another tweet, and this is in reference to the "you're stealing money like Kurt Angle's wife" line that Sean Ross Sapp has tweeted out. She says, "Hey Tony Khan, your little boy at Platinum Max thought he was cute and went somewhere he should have never ever gone. You and him have no idea what you've gotten started." And immediately alarm bells are ringing in my head. I've watched wrestling for over 20 years now. I know when I see her work, I'm thinking, yeah, this is definitely a work. She's tagged Tony Khan, who is the owner of the company. He's got nothing to do with this. She's tagged Max Caster. You know, this is just a tweet to further the storyline, you know, blur those lines between fiction and reality. And this is further backed up by Max Caster's tweet when he replies, "Cancel me, smiley face." So yeah, thinking this is a storyline, they're working this. Kurt Angle himself also decided to chime in on this with this tweet, which he since deleted. "When you've got to use my name to get heat after 12 years, hashtag move on." And this is where it starts getting really crazy, because this next tweet from Karen Angle is completely unhinged. So she says, "Funny and sad how it's all been swept under a rug after all these years. Jeff didn't steal me from anyone. Hashtag Dawn Marie. Hashtag Kelly Kelly. Hashtag," I don't even know what this name is, like Diane, maybe? So it doesn't take a rocket scientist to work this out that Karen is accusing Kurt of cheating on her when they were in their relationship. With the names being mentioned, Dawn Marie, Kelly Kelly, who were both wrestlers around the time Kurt was there. I think Kelly Kelly actually debuted slightly after Kurt had left. Dawn Marie was definitely there at the same time. And this third one, this Deanne Sidden, or whatever this name is, I actually don't know this name. I don't believe this is a wrestler. I have looked it up, and it sounds like this was actually Kurt Angle Angle's stalker. So Karen is accusing Kurt of cheating on her with his stalker, which in itself is insane. And so when you're making claims like this and naming individuals, you better come with receipts, because Kelly replied. She says, I keep linked in this tweet and have DM'd Karen Jarrett to privately ask her, and I'm waiting her response, but I want to go ahead publicly and make a statement. The only way I can be linked to Kurt is we were co-workers. Sorry, but thanks for the Monday morning entertainment, lol. So Kelly is flat out denying this was ever happened, and I believe Kelly didn't join WWE until after Kurt had left. I might just need to fact check that. It's not super important one way or another. The main takeaway here is that Kelly is basically saying that Karen Jarrett is lying here. But the plot does thicken, because Dawn Marie, who was one of the other names mentioned, all but confirmed this back in 2008 in a shoot interview, which I'll play here for some context.
There's rumors on the internet about, I guess, an affair between you and somebody. I don't know if I can say his name or...
I would prefer not to.
Okay.
Yeah.
If people know who I'm talking about, so it was pretty much true then?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that is some pretty damning evidence that all but confirms that part of the story. But what has the public's reaction been to this? Well, generally it's been more in Kurt's favor. There's been a lot of tweets actually in Kurt's favor. This one especially I thought was quite funny. So a lot of people just generally congratulating Kurt Angle, very impressed with his game. I found this tweet too, and this absolutely popped me. It's our good friend the Ryback, upscaled, it looks like, upscaled by AI, eating his bag of ruffles as he does. But that wasn't the end, because Karen Jarrett followed up with even more tweets. So she tweets out, we can start here. My marriage to Kurt was over long before Jeff and I started seeing each other. Yes, we know that. We have established that already. We were legally separated at the time Kurt signed with TNA, living in different homes. We got back together and I tried to get over the affairs, among other things, that went on in our marriage, but obviously wasn't able to. So yes, that confirms they weren't together when Kurt signed. They did try to get back together, but it didn't work. He then goes on to say, I'm done living in fear of speaking the truth. Hashtag moving on. Yes, I think we should all move on from this. But then she proceeds to not move on, as she's still tweeting about it. So she says, assuming those tweets were in response to another tweet, that's incorrect. Someone dug himself a hole offline. Maybe that will all be shared, maybe it won't. I do know I am done living in fear for the threats. So this makes it sound like she's not actually going after Max Caster. She's actually going after Kurt Angle, it sounds like. Which is pretty insane, really, because he wasn't even involved with this, other than Max Caster saying his name. But it does sound like they've had some kind of interaction offline. What that is, I don't know for sure. But it does raise a question whether a line has been crossed here, or whether this is all a work, whether this is to promote a match. In case you didn't know, so Jeff Jarrett is going to team up with Jay Lethal to take on the Acclaimed, which is Max Caster's tag team. So there's definitely a big incentive to cause a whole load of stir out of this. You know, like they say, any publicity is good publicity. And if we take a look at Karen Jarrett's Twitter profile, if I scroll through some of her recent tweets, happy birthday, by the way, JR, but if we have a look at some of recent tweets, it's a lot of, you know, promoting Jeff's toys. Look, Jeff Jarrett's trending on Twitter as a result of all of this. And then there's a lot of talk about this Jeff Jarrett podcast, people reacting to Jeff Jarrett's podcast that has just gone out. And then before the podcast even went out, there's, you know, she's hyping up the podcast. So immediately, I'm again thinking this is a bit of a work, or maybe they're just trying to make a work out of a situation that has got very real. One thing's for certain is that those lines over what is real and what is fake have been blurred here once again. We cannot tell. I mentioned Jeff Jarrett was going to address this on his podcast too. I've had a listen. There is one section in particular where he addresses Max Caster I thought was kind of interesting. I'll play that now. So here is Jeff Jarrett shooting on Max Caster. I say shooting.
Max, there is no way in hell. Your mom probably banged the equipment manager from New York Jets. There ain't no way in hell that your dad's an NFL football player. Zero chance. The athletic ability, and you've got 50% DNA from a professional athlete, I call BS. Has anyone ever seen Max with his father? No. It's a myth. It's a fraud. It's completely BS. It never happened. Just like his music career. Max, you are a talentless bum. I don't even believe you write your own raps. I really don't. You're a complete fraud. And as far as your athletic ability, you want to talk about Jay Lethal and taking shots at the most decorated ROH guy? Max, let's get real about it. Truth be known, you went to a wrestling school, which is a fraud. Create a Pro, Brian Myers, Pat Buck, Have they ever been anywhere out of jerking the curtain? So if they don't know how to get themselves in the main event, how in the hell can they teach you? And I'm sure you're saying, oh, but wait a minute, MJF. Yeah, MJF is succeeding in spite of his crappy training. In spite of it. Max, you're a damn fraud, and you know it.
And so I thought this segment was a little bit amusing because he did go in pretty hard on Max Caster, but then he also started dragging others in, like MJF, the Creator Pro Wrestling School. They're out there catching these stray bullets. They're nothing to do with this situation. So it will definitely be very interesting to see what the fallout of the situation is, where we go from here, whether Jeff gets any heat for this. I can't imagine a lot of the AEW wrestlers, especially those who trained at Creator Pro. Yeah, I can't see them being very happy about this. MJF especially, AEW World Champion. He's got to have some sway in this locker room. You can't go into the company and start bashing the champion like this. Is Jeff just trying to get himself over? Does he have a serious gripe with Brian Myers? I don't know, but I feel like that is a subject to cover another day because we've gone completely off tangent here from the matter at hand, the Karen Angle incident. Yeah, stay tuned for what happens next, I guess. Anyway, bye.